Okay, Chad, here we are. 3, 2, 1. We finally made it. We're live. National championship game underway. Houston versus Florida. We're still stunned it's not Duke. We're still stunned it's not Cooper Flagg. But make no mistake, it looks like the high level March Madness play will continue into this matchup as well, too. Duke and we're already slipping, Chad. IT, we need a Freudian slip counter to just how many times we accidentally say Duke, how many times we accidentally say Cooper Flagg. But we've got Florida and Houston at a right now on the Paramount Plus. They're at 8 to 10. So of course ESPN's always going to be a little bit of ahead. No spoilers, chat. Don't let us know if it's a close game at the end. What happens? There is rules that need to be set in place, but we've got them showing a little, of course, the stats packages and stuff. We got the oldest coach, I guess, for the scale of college basketball. I don't know if Kelvin Sampson is the oldest head coach in college basketball right now, but they say he would be the oldest coach to win the national championship, which does seems a little bit crazy, Chad. He's 69 years old right now. Again, shout out to Kelvin Sampson. Crazy, of course, for one, that the man hasn't won a national title right now up until this point. Crazy that Houston as a program hasn't won a national title either, Chad. But the fact that Coach K, like, again, to bring up that 2014-15 Duke team that ended up winning the national title, like, Coach K wasn't 69 when he won that title, Chad? What happened those last couple of Coach K years? That this man, sorry, chat, wasn't in the finals as a 70-year-old. But apparently it hasn't happened. Apparently nobody's won the finals as a 70-year-old in college, I guess. But we've also got the 39-year-old Golden, Todd Golden, or is it Matt Golden? I forget. There's a Golden that used to coach in Miami for the football team, the Hurricanes, right before I forget the timeline of head coaches for Miami, chat. Shout out. But before we got this run of guys for the Hurricanes and Cam Ward and them almost making the playoffs. They didn't even make the playoffs this year, chat, but I guess it was close. But they did have a Golden on the sidelines at one point. Maybe was there an Al Golden at one point as well? I don't even know, chat. Another name that just subconsciously we do know. But they've got Golden as the head coach, would be the youngest head coach on the other side to win a national championship either way, too, chat. So history on the line. Like we're saying, Houston's first title as a program as well, too. And I would, for the sake of Akeem and for the sake of the Cougars and for the sake of him being able to experience the college time, again, even if he didn't necessarily play in the winning college championship team, maybe for him to, again, experience his program and winning a title for him would be fun. Shout out Hakeem. Hakeem's one of our guys, so we would like for him to have that as a thing, as a fan that has happened in his life. But there was some clips I was seeing as well too about him trying to get up into the court and like onto the celebration area to celebrate after the game, and apparently the security detail wouldn't let him. Like, what are we doing, chat? Sorry. I guess we just gotta get the yawns out of the way to start this one, chat. It is what it is. But yeah, they wouldn't let Hakeem celebrate with the team. So I don't know what their, the rules are. It doesn't matter. You throw the rules aside and you go, oh, pardon me, Mr. Olajuwon, I'm in your way. And then, he walks up and joins the guys and celebrates. I mean, we're talking about the greatest basketball player, the greatest athlete in the history of Houston Cougars sports. I mean, with all due respect to Case Keenum, wasn't Case Keenum a Cougar and then, broke all of the college football records at one point and became the historic quarterback and had the great career? Like, they've had legendary guys, but none as great as Hakeem. You've got to make sure that he's a part of this championship moment if need be, when that moment counts. So, I don't want to like have Hakeem not win the title because the Houston, or we don't even know if it was Houston people. I don't know if it was arena people. What the deal was, chat. If it was Houston people, I can't imagine it was like some kind of team officials. Is that what happens when you win the finals and you have to send your own security team out to practice? And the security teams are like, okay, now it's our time to step up. It's our game, chat. The finals, the celebration. This is where we shine. Each team has to practice before the game how they handle the security situation. And then you just don't know. You just don't know which team is going to be handling it. Pause. Hey, yo. And then you're going to have, of course, figured out. But neither team has been able to get a three-pointer to go as well, too. So, now we're about halfway through the first half, chat. Don't worry, we made it in time. We're still got plenty of high-level basketball to watch. Walter Clayton Jr., he's a clutch player. He's a big-time player, big-time moments. So, we haven't hit the big-time moments yet, chat. I guess this whole game is, pause, big-time moment. But in terms of the clutch moments within the big-time moment, we've still got the second half. Walter Clayton is still having a chance to give us a star player performance to cap off what could potentially be, again, I don't know if we want to start ranking greatest tournament runs. This would probably just, I guess, and it really does depend, obviously, on the championship game. And not to say that every great, tournament run that you could think of, maybe on the guys' side, would have, a player that played like a perfect, awesome game in every game. Like maybe there is one, not even dud game, but maybe one lower stats game in the mix as well, too. But Clayton has basically carried the entire weight shot. So, yeah, 13 against Maryland, 3 for 9 is the one, lower point total run from this game so far. But 87-71, remember, was the final score of that game. So, totally fine having the lower scoring performance. Totally works out for him in that case. But if we just calculate the full number, and 30 points each of the last two games is pretty impressive as well too, because that can happen where it feels like the stats can flip sometimes around where the higher point totals are, and again, all these numbers are impressive, but the higher point totals would be in the earlier rounds and then the lower point totals. And as you would expect as the games get more difficult, but his scoring number has gone up, chat. Pause. 50%, 5 games so far headed into this one tonight. 50%, 48 from 3, 90% from the free throw line, 24.6 points a game, 3 assists, 3 rebounds, 2.5 assists on top of that. But 24.5 a game, 50, 48, 90 shooting splits is, about as high level that we've seen in the tournament for any. What would Leitner's best tournament run have looked like? I guess we just go straight to the top, chat. Pause. Compare him against, I guess, obviously we could go back and look at some of those Bill Walton game logs. Kareem. See what even, files we can dig up from back in that time, chat. Did they have paper back when Bill Walton was playing basketball? But 6 games for Leitner in the 92 tournament, chat. And you see, in the finals, and again, they had some, obviously, we don't need to necessarily worry about the national title game, but 8 points, 2 for 8 against Indiana in the semis. Not like a stellar Leitner performance there, I guess. 10 rebounds still. 1 block on defense. Just the game score in general a little bit lower for that one. But for the tournament itself, 55 a game. 55 a game would be insane. 55%, 46% from 3. 85% from free throw. 19 and 8. And then, it says two almost, over 2 steals a game. A steal and a block a game as well, too. So you get a 19, 8, 2 steals and a block, chat, for our guy Leitner in 92. And again, they did win back-to-back titles. So I feel like this, well, what is better for our case, chat? Obviously, it's better for our case that the 92 title run is better, because then that means Michigan is a better opponent for Duke in that title run. Again, we can throw the final scores out, chat. We know the status of that Michigan roster. We know that they were obviously a pretty formidable opponent with that group, but still, the win over the UNLV team was, that's still the game of the Leitner run. in that tournament, maybe more consistent scoring performances as well too, and just better, I guess. And we're reading the 3-point shooting percentages like he was actually shooting 3-pointers. Chad, in the full 6 games in '91, he was 2 for 4. So shout out, he's 50%. The man's sufficient, but 2 for 4, you better be. 61% from the field in this tournament, 20 a game, 5 rebounds, a steal and a half a game, and then not quite a block. So the full sort of Leitner, I guess, impact of the game, he was definitely maybe a little more Cooper Flagg-ish, chat, or Leitner, whatever order we're supposed to put it in properly to, pay homage, chat, to the legendary, the more filling the box score type performances in the last one. But, this one definitely the high level efficient scoring was carrying. So in terms of the top performances, do we have to go Kemba Walker, chat? Is that the ultimate guard scoring performances of the modern time, taking a team to title? Because Tyus Jones would have been, scoring really well in some of those games. And obviously in that Wisconsin game, hit some major shots. A couple of threes now. Florida has, I guess, taken a 3-point lead, opened it up a little bit, chat, pause. But, Florida's offense obviously is going to be the thing where can Houston win the recipe the same kind of way, that they won in that Duke game. And as much as that was that, that is the Houston recipe. We can look at it either way. Duke was sloppy. Duke was the one that gave the game away at the end of the game. And again, it's the better team, the team with the bigger lead and with the star players. That is how the game is going to be remembered. But also, like we're saying, this is the recipe for Houston to win these games. Slow it down. They're going to force turnovers. They're going to make it ugly with the defense. And again, if Duke is going to lean into it and give you a couple of free inbound under the basket, chat, then, by all means, you're going to take it, and it's definitely going to pause. It's definitely going to help you win. But the quick storm back, chat, up 20-16 now as we talk. But again, the slow kind of games as well, if this becomes an offensive 3-point. But that was the way it was with Auburn, if it was, they were saying, as we were pedaling over in that game, to jump on the live stream for that one, they were saying, of course, that, we can't let Florida get into a fast-paced game. And that is, the speed of the team helps as well, too. The Houston transition defense gets the SWAT, chat. We're going back the other way. Cryer, Sharp, drives. Oh! Is that Condon on the other end with the rejection? Sharp, unfortunately, the elevation, chat. He's just not quite able to get up. Or who was that? Somebody. It wasn't Condon. We're going to get our white guys mixed up. Florida. It is what it is. Every white guy is either Condon or Ha or somebody tonight, chat. But, yeah, Kemba Walker, that tournament run as a lower seed. I guess, do they luck out a little bit playing Butler that year in the tournament as well, too, chat? I guess the percentages, do you throw them out for Kemba Walker? But if we're nitpicking and if we're talking about, comparing these tournament runs against each other and what is the final separating points of greatness, Walter Clayton's efficiency, chat. Walker this year for the tournament, 23.5 a game, 6 rebounds and 5.5 assists. The full box score package from the guard there pauses. It's not something that, I guess, does everybody need to bring up the 6 rebounds and 5.5 assists that he had in that tournament run as well, too. But again, you just think of it as the scoring performance. You think about Kemba Walker as a player, too, how he translated into the NBA. But as a guard there in that tournament run, definitely, impacting the game all the way around. So, of course, shout out Kemba. But even like we were saying earlier, Kemba had his 2 30-point performances in the earlier rounds against Cincinnati, San Diego State, good teams, chat. But when we got into the actual championship round portions of it, 20, 18, 16, 5 for 19 in the national championship. Yeah, I guess they won pretty convincing. I never remember, I guess, the final score for that national championship game. 53-41 is crazy. The fact that they won the national title, they score up 109 points in the Final Four weekend feels like if Duke scored or chat, there we go, slip number 2, if Florida scored 100 and some points tonight, it wouldn't necessarily be, again, the most shocking thing in the world. So, in Florida as a 1 seed, as, like you're saying, we're looking at the numbers of historic team according to the Ken Pom rankings. So that the beauty of that UConn team was an underdog team. It was a scrappy team. Obviously, came out of nowhere, pausing the tournament run before that with the Big East tournament, and then into the March Madness tournament as well too. But again, this Florida team, more of a powerhouse team, and the Houston team as well too. But from the Clayton side of it, and from looking at his tournament run, a little bit more supporting cast as well too. So the efficiency, I don't know if that's like expected into the performance there, but maybe again Kemba gets like a few leeway efficiency points, I guess, in the historical legacy rankings of it, if his team's just a little bit worse, chat. But again, that kind of number with that kind of scoring is just, I can't, there's not a lot of other guys, obviously, in college basketball history that have done that if they're actually able to close out and get the championship win here. So I don't know what would honestly be the bigger legacy mover here for college basketball just in general. Like, again, Walter Clayton, we know his status for a March Madness run. It's not solidified. I guess it is solidified with a Final Four national championship game appearance, but it becomes immortalized, I guess, with the national championship. We get it, chat, with the levels that he can go to. But there is a certain, of course, aura that the man already has from the performances that he's had in this tournament. But Kelvin Sampson himself getting that national championship as well, too. Like we're saying, Houston as a program actually getting over the top and winning a title as well. Where, like, they have the basketball history. They have the legendary players. They have the legendary teams. They have amongst the most legendary teams. Is there not a better nickname for a group of players in any, maybe one of the best team sport nicknames in general is the Pie Slamma Jamma, chat. And obviously, the frat style. It's just perfect, chat. It's just perfect. The high-flying athleticism, Hakeem and Clyde as well, too. The fact that those guys go back to win a title in the NBA together, same city as well, is, awesome storyline stuff, chat. But to legitimize them as a blue blood in a way, like, you don't necessarily earn blue blood status, I guess, if you don't earn blue blood status if you win one national title. But again, it does put them over, I think, into that real kind of territory. Because Florida already has a couple. So Florida doesn't necessarily need their, and again, the history maybe for Houston is a little bit, it spans maybe a little bit more years. I don't know, again. Only 6 All-Americans is a little bit lower, chat, than you'd expect. Pause. Hey, yo. But Elvin Hayes with 2 All-Americans. Otis Birdsong, the Houston legend, never gets brought up in the Houston legend conversation, but needs to. It will be on the Rem and Pod going forward. It needs to be in conversations elsewhere. Florida at this point in the game, only down by 3, but again, that Houston defense, chat, Florida has more turnovers than field goals made. They have 7 field goals and 8 turnovers, but number 8 to 9, whatever it is, they have 1 more turnover than field goal. Clayton on the inside, corner 3. There it is, chat. The ball movement that time from Florida. Clayton into the post. The post back out to Richard for the corner 3. Richard with 6.4 rebounds so far, giving him a much-needed performance. But yeah, I don't know if we've probably jinxed the Clayton scoring performance at this point, but we're seeing the playmaking. Like we're saying, that box score, it's been, points. It's very points-heavy so far. A performance in the championship game where it's like, wow, look at this Clayton. He moved into a point guard role. But Cryer from 3. Houston is just a veteran team. They're a locked-in team right now. Cryer, like we're saying, he needs to start getting some star player recognition. The transition. The lob from Houston. Up 5. Sharp, chat. He just makes smart plays. He's a smart basketball player. Defense. Is that a foul? I think Sharp forces the tie-up. Possession still goes to Florida, but Houston has the momentum. Am I rooting for Houston all of a sudden? Hakeem, pie slam jamma. Clyde. We just love Hakeem on this show, chat. So if he's in the building, if he's having fun celebrating, if he's, again, if there's a way we can find joy in a team winning the national title, that's not Michigan. I mean, Hakeem winning a national title would be one of, I get, Charles for Auburn would maybe have been, that would have been a fun legend matchup of prehistoric legends for the schools. Charles versus Hakeem, former teammates. Oh, the bank shot, chat. The banker three almost from the corner. He was kind of in the corner. It was more at the break where the corner starts to turn into the wing. But he sidestepped and then banked in the three. Uh-oh. That's a Houston's night type of shot, chat, and the travel on Florida. The travel on Florida. Uh-oh. Houston has a chance to go up double digits. A quick storm here, chat. A quick storm in the 5 minutes to go in the first half. A much-needed break in the action for Florida. Uh-oh, Clayton! This is the time where we need the shots. But yeah, again, they got spanning basically every decade here, chat. Late 60s with Elvin Hayes, the 70s with Songbird, the 80s with Pi Slamma Jamma, and then, in terms of the All-Americans, I guess it does get a little bleak until we get to Sasser and Shed. But I feel like some of those other teams as well. I mean, obviously there was, shout out Sasser, great player, but there were some other great teams before in the 2000s. Before as well too. Yeah, there was a tournament team in here as well. Tommy Pendergrass. Who is this guy? Pender's son, maybe. Just Tommy Penders, I guess, is his name. Why did we think it was not fitting his full name in there? But I guess they only made the tournament one time from 80. That is crazy. I thought they made the tournament a couple times in there. But no, I guess everybody, shout out to Houston. Everybody sucked from the 80s. Pause. Hey, yo. From the 80s to Sasser and Shed, I guess. But hey, we got a 25-6 team in here. You lost, I guess, in the first round of the tournament. 21-9, 17-10. Some real bleak, 9-win years here. Uh-oh. Oh, no, Clyde! Clyde, what happened? A 2-year run with Clyde going back to coach the school, chat. They tried it 10-17 and 9-22. It did not go well. Unfortunately, I don't know, NIL era. There's no GM that we can blame for this Houston one. Oh, chat, another throwback logo. Of course, that's an absolute win. This Houston logo, shout out. The Clyde Drexler era just made this Houston logo go forgotten about. G. Gervin, Kenny Younger, William Stringfellow. I mean, chat, this is not a real team. Can we blame Clyde Drexler for this? Moses Malone. I'm just, 1999. I don't think it was. We're not talking actual Moses Malone here, chat. But was this maybe like a Moses Malone Jr. situation? So we have Moses Malone Jr., Torrance Botts, William Stringfellow, Kenny Younger, and G. Gervin for a starting lineup. I don't know if Clyde Drexler was filming 2 seasons of a Fish That Saved Pittsburgh spinoff, but just a Clyde that saves Houston, and then unfortunately they're like, oh, we have to cancel after the second season. He went 2-14 in conference play. G. Gervin back-to-back years. G. Gervin putting up points, check. Unfortunately, maybe a little bit of a good stats, bad team guy, but 18 and 20 points. Back to years. A top 30 recruit, George Williams in 2000, the year after. So things were starting to turn around, chat. Maybe they should have just given Clyde a few more years. Try to build this program out. And no points tonight for Clayton so far. Yikes, chat. The glazing pause, and he's just a shutout potentially in the first half. We're 15 minutes of action so far. And Clayton hasn't been able to, again, he's been moving the ball. He's been able to find moments, but no points. Not one time. Is this a tough one for the NBA tape, chat? The scouts that all had Walton or Clayton outside of the top 50 are now going to be like, see? You put some physicality. Cryer's able to take Clayton out. Maybe we just start looking at Cryer as, ooh, Cryer just took out an NBA guard, chat. Maybe that's what we look at. Maybe that's the type of impact we have to start talking about with his defense. Again, if I'm not mistaken, his injuries were probably a big reason why, if I'm not mistaken, he was injured, why that team was not able to have the run last year that they may have wanted to. The double right now, chat. Oh, long three from Houston. A bit of a heat check. So 23-29, 3:40 left. They can settle in here, get a bucket, make it 4. We're back in the game, and we're close again as well too, chat. But on the other screen, we also should mention there was a couple of NBA games that were wrapping up at this time as well too. We do have Kings versus Raptors, less than 2 minutes to go. Kings are up 8 in this one, and the Kings did play an awesome game against the Cavs as well too the other night. So, I don't know if it's just an Eastern Conference thing, the Pistons, or the Pistons and the Cavs, the Kings can maybe match up well against that conference. So I don't know if that necessarily fares well for them going to the playoffs. But again, in that battle for that last seed, it was like, is Sacramento going to be that team? Or, Phoenix, Brown, or Booker and Durant potentially making the playoffs, making the play-in, fighting for that last spot. It's like, do we even want to see him in there? But the only other option is Sacramento. So it's like, okay, do we want to see Sacramento in there as well? But Sacramento, I mean, again, look at this couple of win streak here, chat. Charlotte, I guess, again, we're not counting that one. But the win against Cleveland the other night is impressive. So, Cleveland to end the season, is there a little bit of, what's happening? But still, not the... And without Murray as well, too. And you forget they have Jake LaRavia. That's why things have turned around so well, chat, for Sacramento. Because they brought in Jake LaRavia. I mean, you trade Jake LaRavia, and next thing you know, Taylor Jenkins is getting fired. John Morant, there's storyline questions. So, seems like he might just be the glue holding the franchise together. Pause. Wherever he ends up going. But Sacramento in that playoff spot might actually be kind of fun. Might actually be a team that is not going to necessarily, and again, it's play-in games, so will they even make the playoffs? But in the games that we start watching for these playoff scenarios, they will be a fun team in that mix. I mean, it's been a long time, I guess, since we've had, real dominant Kings players in a real way, chat. We're going to have to go back to some of these Royal days. Jack Twyman, Bobby Wainzer. Bobby Wainzer is a crazy last name. Jerry Lucas, shout out. Sam Lacey, Bobby Davies, Arnie Risen, Scott Wedman, of course Weber, Stojakovic, Oscar as well too. Mitch Richmond, shout out. Tenny Archibald, chat, of course. But that game was going on, and then Sixers Heat was going on as well too. So we'll switch over to that in a second. I guess we could switch over right now because the Kings are up 13. Shout out DeRozan, shout out Levine. Getting the win. Who would have thought, chat? No De'Aaron Fox. Zach LaVine. More playoff games this year in the Western Conference than De'Aaron Fox. Miami up 9 with 5 minutes left. So we've got Quentin Grimes right now on the thumbnail for the Sixers at this point in the year. It's just what it is. Honestly, not a bad spot. Would Quentin Grimes be on the thumbnail anyways? If we were just looking at the stats of the way the guys were playing and the way Quentin Grimes, has he just been the best player in the Sixers this year in general? They don't even have to get the guys tanking. Just put Embiid back out there. Quentin Grimes is still better, chat. Yikes. Uh-oh. Let's hope that's not the case next year. Or let's hope it is because Quentin Grimes is so awesome, right? Not, of course, because Embiid. Yeah, right. But baseline jumper there from Florida. They get it to go. So Richard has been the one carrying from a scoring standpoint so far. 4 for 5, 11 points. Down 4 with 3 minutes left. Just in that couple of shot range. I mean, obviously, you want to have the lead going into the second half. But just in that, okay, if Clayton does hit a couple of shots here, we're in the lead. Or, you know, if Richard just says, hey, tonight's my night, I'm throwing this team on my back, and I'm going to power us to the win. And, you know, they have Martin as well, too, who has had some big scoring nights and, you know, tournament history himself. So they have other guys that they could potentially go to in these moments to get these points. I mean, Clayton running the pick and roll, getting the offense started at least. The ball movement that time, they're able to get the center a look around the rim. Just unfortunately not able to get that one to go. I don't know, a little rush, but good defense by Houston either way. The rim out, though, on the other end. Clayton, this is his chance. Full speed, they stop him in transition. Condon doesn't want to give it back. The pick and roll. The double by Houston. Oh, is that Martin for three? Martin not able to get it to go, chat. That would have cut it to 1 with 2 minutes left. But here we go. 1 turnover for Houston so far. The cleanliness of the game played is great. But again, they're just in these close games regardless of, I guess, if this is a good game for them. I don't know what the field goal percentage, but the efficiency in terms of not turning it over. I mean, that's about as good as you could ask for. Cryer, the pull-up, chat. There it is. 31-25. And he's only got 5 points himself, chat. But which of the big bucket makers, which of the lead guards is going to make a play? Richard, chat, tried the heat check. Tried the sidestep 3, not able to get it to go. Uh-oh. The Florida offense, chat. Looking a little rushed. I mean, that last possession, I felt like they did a good job of moving the ball a little bit there. Just that time settling for the rush shot. And again, with the way that he's been playing as well, too, I mean, you can't necessarily say he hasn't necessarily earned himself a quick look. But at this point in the game, you just don't want to let it get out of hand. Oh, Houston, they had a shot at the rim and they didn't get it to go. They had a layup opportunity and a putback. Another quick 3. There it is, chat. Pa-pow! Running clock, Richard. He's just in his bag right now. He's feeling it. That's what you just have to let him cook. Let him take the quick 3s. Who's to tell him to stop? He's 4 for 5. Timeout, Houston. 34 seconds in the game clock. 22 on the shot clock. So Richard goes for the 2 for 1. I guess Richard was going for the rare 3 for 1, chat. He said, can we get 3 looks here? And maybe he scores on 2 of them. Maybe these last 2 here for rounding, that first look he took there in the last couple of minutes. We're putting that one in the mix. But the star performer of the game so far has been our guy, Will Richard, chat. Not necessarily, I don't think, MVP of the Final Four. Like, it'd be a weird thing because, again, you get Final Four MVP. It's based on 2 games. So if there's, like, a weird split where it's like, okay, Clayton technically did have 1 good game and Richard had 1 good game, and it's at a Final Four. But you look at the numbers this year on the season, chat, 48% from the field, 35% from 3. It's giving efficient. It's not quite efficient, but it's got the vibes of a player that could be an efficient player. 13 a game on the season as well, too. 4.5 rebounds. He's going to give you some rebounds over the course of his career. 35% each. He's been in that mix the last 3 years. His sophomore year, he was almost 40%. So, okay, that year, he was almost a 50-40 guy, taking 7 shots a game, 27 minutes, in a little bit of a more reduced role. But he's only 9.5 shots this year, just per game. Anyways, but the senior, chat, stepping up when called upon. Uh-oh. Houston just clanks 2 consecutive 3s. It went from bad to worse. They can get a stop. Kelvin Sampson, shout out. I don't know who I want to win, chat. We'll have to make a call. Do we want Sampson? Do we want Clayton? I guess we'll just have to decide. Maybe whoever gets the win will be the team that we root for. Richard again! Oh! The halftime buzzer. No foul. No shot. Miami down 3. So we called UConn crazy for scoring 50 and winning a national title, but these second halves, I mean, as you would expect, as the game gets more intense, the second halves get more intense. The second halves have been, offensively even a little bit less scoring than some of these first halves. So we could be right on pace for another 50-50 type performance. If Houston won the national title and it was 56-53, I mean, that sounds like a pretty Houston Cougaries. Hey, yo, chat. The Cougars? Are the Cougars gonna get their prey, chat? Prey? Is that what you call, maybe the person on the opposite end of the wiles of a cougar, chat? I guess, what else would you call them? But, Cougars are the only one getting titles thrown around at you. And, cougar is always it's always a compliment, chat. It's always a term of respect. It's earned, not given, maybe? I don't know. But either way, the Houston Cougars, the Gators. What's a Gator? We know what a Cougar is. What's a Gator, chat? DM us at REMINGTOM. What is a Gator? Is it a guy? Is it who knows, chat? But let us know, I guess. If we know what a Cougar is, DM us REMINGTOM on REMINGTOM Pod on Instagram. The DMs are open. Let us know what you guys think a Gator should be. Is that the question of the game, chat? What should be the actual definition of a Gator? But Will Richard, speaking of transfer portal, he was an early adapter, chat, going back to 21-22 from Belmont in the OVC. Is that Drake's NIL conference? What's going on here? Belmont Bruins, 28-5. 25-8 the year that he was on the team. Didn't make the tournament or anything. Ben Shepherd, a junior on this team, of course, drafted by the Pacers. Kind of a fun wing guard prospect, but who knows? Will Richard, it turns out, from this team, chat. Who would have thought he's having the moments right now in the national championship game, carrying his Florida team when Will Richard is having a little bit of a down box score night, chat. Here, let's get a quick numbers check while we're here at halftime. I mean, yeah, by far the best offensive player in the game on both sides. 14 points so far. The only player in the game in double digits. There's only 2 other players with 6. So he's got twice as many points as the next 2 lead scorers, chat. Will Richard, all time. I don't know what, he's got literally half of the team's points going into halftime. What is the best percentage of teams' points scored for a championship game? This might be an actual historic performance from Will Richard. Did Kareem score, or Bill Walton or somebody? I guess Bill Russell himself, too, won a couple titles. Did Bill Russell? But he won it with, Sam Jones? So maybe Sam Jones was getting the buckets, while Russell was playing defense. So maybe, has anybody ever scored half of their team's points and then ended up winning the national title? Chat, Will Richards is just going to swoop in. It's like taking the belt from his own guy. Walter Clayton did all this work to get Florida the notoriety and to build the player names up, as his own player name. Florida's draft stock, Walter Clayton's validating everybody, and now Will Richards is going to step in, hit a couple of threes in the national championship game. It's 6'5", good numbers all year. Oh, and a vicious poster, chat, on the replay. Was that right before we logged on? Oh, man, Yikes. It's getting absolutely destroyed on that dunk. But we've got, it was Francis for Houston with 6 points. Oh, we got Malik Wilson with 7 points, of course. Got to give him his respect, chat. 3 for 6 from the field, 1 for 2 from 3. Otherwise, just balance across the starting lineup so far for Houston with 4, 3, 4, 2. Cryer with 5. But yeah, only 2 free throws. Only 4 free throws so far in the entire game. So we'll see if the refs, they decided at the very last second to make some calls in that Duke-Houston game. So we'll see at what point in the game do they decide to make some calls in this one as well too. But 0 for 4 from our guy Clayton is tough. Come on, Clayton. Clayton and Richard, 14 combined points. 4 for 10 from the field. I mean, if you said that shit, you'd be like, okay. I didn't know Clayton was putting up a donut in that situation, but that combination anyway. Seems like Richard can do enough work for the both of them. Pause. Who's this guy? Miles Uzon? You know Miles, chat? He's 2 for 5 from the field. He'll hit a 3 at some point later in this game. Shout out Ron Grover, Terry Oglesby, Doug Sermons. I mean, these aren't real people, chat. These refs, what are we doing here? But, yeah, Miami is up 112. Make it 114 to 102 or 101 versus the Sixers with a minute 10 left. So if anybody was, you know, edge of their seat waiting for the end of some of these NBA games as well too, we can now fully focus on the NCAA. They were just like, yeah, no games starting second half. I believe these are only 2 on the slate for the day. So will be the national championship game and then 2 be later, chat. I guess it just, you know, it is what it is. But halftime, we'll take a quick break and then we'll be back, chat. Second half of the national championship game. Will Richard, can he actually carry his team when Walter Clayton is 0 for 4? Can Cryer and Sharp and Kelvin Sampson close out this Gators team? Chat, we'll find out in the second half. Okay, Chad, here we are, second half about to fire up. And since the NBA games are done, I mean, we could have just gone to Tubi right away, I guess, on the second screen. But instead of a movie, Chad, I feel like, to keep the competitive spirit alive, since it is championship vibes right now in the chat, we had to go with Chopped on the second screen. I feel like it's only appropriate for a national championship setting. We're tuning in, looking at the clock, the actual physical, time of the day. The programming notes, chat, like, we're near the end of the episode. I think we're a little too late to see what the mystery basket actually was, but there was like some kind of blackberry situation going on, but there wasn't like actual, just normal blackberry, blueberry, whatever, raspberry buzz, thing that they had to cook with. It was like these raspberries have COVID and you have to disinfect them, and it's like you can't give them normal menu items, obviously. But 4 minutes left. I think again we're close to that. Is this the championship round? I think we're just in time, chat. It's the dessert round, so that would make sense. We're focused on maybe a little more pastry pie type stuff, but it's gonna be a lot of drama, chat, and a lot of high intense moments here, I guess, in the second half of the REMINGTOM pod, because between Chopped and Florida Houston, I don't know if there's going to be a dull moment left. But obviously we know that Clayton's going to have to do something, Chad. Again, with as great as Richard has been, I mean, I guess, if you're getting an all-time performance from somebody else, it's one of those things that, at what point are we just going to assume that he's going to cool off? But with the way the offense is going to run, Richard is still even a guy that, even with the way he's cooking right now, he's still creating off others. He had a couple of moments where he took some quick shots himself, but again, it was like, hey, I've got it right now, and I'm just gonna take the shot while I have the ball, and I'm open and I'm feeling it, and it's just I gotta let it fly. And is this lady doing like a dessert biscuit, chat? Is that like a cobbler? When she had them in the oven, they look like biscuits. So, I guess I'm not a dessert biscuit. Hey, I'm all in, chat. But that versus whatever cobbler. This guy's got like 16, like 4 of each of the berries, paws, just scattered out on each of the plate. I don't really know what his deal is. Obviously, we got audio off for that one. But just visually, I'm going with whatever this cup of... she's staring at it like she forgot some menu items, though. She's got the I didn't get the proper menu item in her face, or undercooked or something. It does look a little soupy, I guess, maybe a little runny. Yeah, there was some kind of, I guess, collection of berries, paws, and a lychee drink. Okay, that's something. And then some kind of maybe like rum or bundt cake or something. Buttermilk biscuit with blackberry and rosemary coulis. What's a coulis, chat? I'm not really sure. But again, just visually, I'm calling it. That seems like it's going to... Uh-oh. He's not a fan. So this might actually be the worst tasting one. He just... I've never seen the judge, like, tilt the plate back at the person. Oh, that smile, though, means it's a good thing. Maybe that was good. Maybe this actually hits home. Chat, if the game gets bad, make no mistake, audio will be flipped on for Chopped. I'm assuming Chopped is... I'm assuming we're just in the Chopped portion of the Food Network night. Feels like that's obviously the main takeover for prime time, chat. They said we'll just keep it programming simple to go up against the national championship game. We'll just be Chopped. Who does have... It might be kind of the same people, right, chat? Because Food Network is on HBO now. If we do a little streaming service detective work, chat, I think some of the Food Network stuff is on HBO. And, of course, all that TNT, Paramount, Warner stuff is all... can have an HBO run as well too. Of course, we're looking Paramount Plus for the CBS side of things, but it's all a short walk from Paramount Plus over to HBO, chat. They're cousins, I think, more so than they are full on rivals. Will there be a merger at some point? Is that the Hulu Disney Plus related? You just get enough streaming services out there, chat. You can't leave them alone. They all start hooking up. Next thing you know, Disney Plus is with Hulu and Paramount Plus is with HBO. I guess Showtime's already with Paramount Plus, and now all of a sudden is there going to be a third person in the mix? I guess we've already got, what, ESPN and Hulu and Disney. That relationship keeps growing, so it's just crazy, chat. But, yeah, for Houston anyways, again, I feel like that is the half that they're going to have to play in the second half, is keeping it ugly, keeping it out of the star players for Florida. And if these perimeter guys are going to have these big three-point shooting days, then, you know, again, you're not going to let Clayton necessarily be the one to have the big performance. It's going to put him over the top. Brunson on Colbert? Hey, shout out, chat. Shout out to guy Brunson. So I think not only our favorite dessert is going to win the round, chat, but maybe this chef is going to take home the crown. What is the prize money for Chopped? Is it like 10K? So I don't know, you know. In this economy, chat, what's the prize money now? But, you know, I mean, it's not going to hurt. A quick afternoon of some mystery basket cooking for a 10K. I mean, you know, you can't be necessarily mad at that. But, yeah, with Cryer, anyways, at 2 for 5, I know maybe you could have Cryer with, you know, maybe a couple more points if we were just pointing toward individual Houston players. Sharp as well, too. But the moments of hitting a couple threes, keeping the team at bay, and then just having the defensive presence to keep the team in that just close deficit range. Obviously, you know, if they pull away, they pull away. But just enough offense at one point in the game is kind of what you need from Houston. You don't need a brilliant offensive second half. You just need that run like you did in the first half at that one point. Hit a couple of threes, and then the defense can be solid for the rest of the game throughout the course of the second half. And that can obviously be the championship recipe. But we shall see here, chat, who is able to get it done. The second half is about to start up. And what is turning into an iconic game, the iconic championship weekend, continues. The March Madness, chat. What a run. What a run. 4 straight days of championship basketball. All of the games, of course, delivering. Oh, she got chopped, chat. She must have messed something up. Did she just like pour the lychee drink straight into the bottom? I think she might have. I don't know if she was able to cook that up into something. But oh, that's tough. That other plate was just, see, that was like a normal dessert, a normal kind of looking dessert, but obviously, you know, elevated with, you know, in theory, elevated with the ingredients and maybe the actual items that were in the dish. But just the overly bougie type stuff, chat, I'm not against it necessarily, but if you're giving me one or the other, overly bougie versus the high end sort of, and again, it's kind of the same thing. Like, do I want overtly bougie or do I want disguised bougie? I want disguised bougie, chat. I want sneaky bougie, if that's with the food, if that's a thing. But and sometimes the lack of portions is a little intimidating. You're like, okay, you know, is there a certain aesthetic I want to also achieve with the? And again, I'm also thinking restaurant here, not necessarily prepping a competition style meal. But, and I'll you know, I'm not against going to a fancy dinner. If somebody were ever like, hey, do you want to go to this nice restaurant that serves small portions and they're fantastic and it's really good, and I'll be like, hey, you know what? If you're offering, sure, I'm down to go. Make no mistake. It's going to be awesome. But if that's like and I guess there's 3 Michelin stars, but if that's like the 5-star, like overly classy restaurant, I want like the 4.5-star, 4-star. That's the super high end, but maybe there's still like, okay, we'll do a little bit of a bigger portion. We'll still lean into some of the old school recipes. You know, we're innovating the classics. We're not necessarily, and you know, obviously you want to have their own special creations or whatever. You want anybody, you know, pushing the game forward, chat, in a positive way. But lowest scoring first half in a national title game since 2011. But still delivering, I feel like, from a drama and an entertainment standpoint here. And maybe the second half kicks back up. Oh, the physicality right away. Houston lowering his shoulder. The block on Condon. Moving his feet, Chad. I didn't know if he was in the restricted area there, but just not quite able to get set. Maybe a little bit of a flop, too, kind of leaning into the contact. But now they're going to start Richard. What's this guy's name, Chad? Let me get an actual name here. Oh, Roberts. Yeah, now they're going to start Richard on Roberts, which little size mismatch. And Houston, there we go. Crier, chat. The 2-pointer, 34-28. Right away, Houston. Florida, don't let it get out of hand. Crier was the one that got the bucket to end the first half, so he's kept the momentum. Richard gets met at the rim. His aggression, he keeps tacking. Oh, Clayton! They call him undersized, chat. They question his defense. They question his athleticism. He blocks the three-pointer on Sharp. He hasn't made the scoring plays, but right away, defensively impacting. That's what you want to see. That's what you want to see. I know the scoring is going to be the thing that you're going to be pinpointing and is going to be the projectionable thing and the thing that was awesome in this tournament. But if he can have these moments, like we were calling him Pritchard, you know, Sam was saying that Pritchard was just a much better basketball player. And there's a lot of elements to Pritchard's game with the defense and the playmaking, but you see the pass inside. There it is. His passing has been good in this game, chat. Houston's defense, they've just been able to be in, you know, not necessarily the lanes getting turnovers all the time, but yeah, he has 6 assists right now, chat. He has 6 assists. This is a good Clayton game. Not a good Clayton shooting game, but a good Clayton game. His playmaking is there. The pick and roll. Oh, is that an offensive foul? Oh, no. Is it on Houston? Kelvin Sampson is livid. Kelvin, don't get thrown out. You want to be on the sideline if you're going to win the title. Okay, chat, they're introducing the chefs for the next chop competition, so we'll be locked in on this time on what this first mystery basket is here. It'll be important, but I guess what'll be the mystery basket of second half? Do we need to do a chop-style broadcast sometime? Maybe for March Madness next year, chat. Chopped could be fun. It is obviously a little bit of a chop-style setting. The NBA playoffs, of course, the series, I don't know if it totally evens out and works out. Okay, is this a team competition? It is. This one guy's just spitting game, chat. Again, audio down, but you don't even need to hear what they're saying. She's just folding laughing, chat. It is what it is. I feel like, is this the team that we're either rooting for or they're the favorites to win, but the chemistry might, I mean, that might just be on point, and that's the thing you got to do, though, chat, right? You got to establish chemistry with the teammate right away. So it seems like everybody is going to be able to get along, but a couple free throws there. So the physicality, the refs, maybe they open up again a little bit more here in the second half. But we got a heart-shaped ravioli, a red snapper, a fairy tale eggplant. Hey, yo! In a scary kiss cocktail. Wait, is this like some kind of... What episodes are they running here, chat? This is either like some Valentine's Day episodes that they're just running randomly in April, or is this like we're getting some adult-only episodes? The eggplant, the cocktail, and the red snapper? And what was the other one? The heart-shaped ravioli? I mean, yeah, heart-shaped ravioli. What are we doing? I'm not eating heart-shaped ravioli unless it's, I guess, in a chop-style competition. I guess make no mistake. If you're telling me it's A+ heart-shaped ravioli, then I can let the heart-shape pass, chat. But I can just be like, hey, you could have just done normal ravioli. It would have been fine. I get it. 36-30. Here we go, chat. Florida was upset about something. The red snappers got us distracted. Okay, it was Crier off the screen. And then it was Houston on the moving screen. So Richard got the foul. Yeah, Chad, it looked like Tugler definitely was the one initiating the contact. Oh, and Florida gets a technical. Cryer shooting the technical free throw. Oh, golden, chat. His stock has been up in this tournament run, but that could be a costly tech. Is that two-shot tech? Oh, and Cryer misses the second one, the only saving moment for Florida here. But, oh, man. Wait, did he leave his... Did he say something? Oh, he didn't seem like he left his, left his area, got too far out in the court when he shouldn't have or something. But 5 fouls right away for Florida. Less than 3 minutes into the half. Wow. So, not turnovers. You've had a couple of looks. Clayton had an assist already, but just giving Houston more and more opportunities, and it leads to the Cryer 3 in the corner. Houston is up 10. Houston has extended the lead to double digits for the first time. Largest lead tonight. Clayton, does he draw the foul from the perimeter? Is that going to be 3 shots? Could this be Clayton with a chance to get his first points on the board? They might call him foul on the ground here. But chat, why are we audio down for the national championship game? We're slacking, chat. Our journalistic integrity is weak. We got to get our journal meter back up. Our journalism rating. Do we need to have a 2K journalism rating, or just person? What's the Stephen A's journalism rating, chat, in 2K after the LeBron thing? Is he moved into? Is he a 98, 99 overall now, or is he like Stephen A? You said you swung on LeBron. Journalistic integrity. You're down to like an 87. 92 maybe for our guy Stephen A. But a couple of takes and then he'll be right back up. He's hovering, of course, in the 95 to 96. Not that he wouldn't be a 99 overall of the guys that are in the media right now. It's just, are we saving the night? Like, what is Jokic? Like, is Jokic a 98 overall currently in 2K, chat? And does he start the season? I guess we're in the season as well too. So again, the in-season upgrades to Stephen A move up to a 98. But I don't know how highly they rate the players that are currently playing in the season. If they're giving them the 98s, then it's just in correlation to whatever is happening with those players. If Giannis is a 98, 97, then Stephen A can be a 97, 98 as well too. But Stephen A can't be a higher 2K media rating than Giannis is a player rating. Inside, chat. The little hook shot, little jump shot, 12-point lead, 8-0 run. Clayton. They keep, of course, hedging out on those pick and rolls. And, the ball movement, Richard in the corner, it's a good look with the way he's been playing, chat. You can't be mad about his playmaking and the ball movement. But, again, at some point, you're just going to need Clayton to maybe attack and just find a lane. Get a driving lane. Don't give it up too early. Just maybe re-screen, double back. But that fast-paced ball movement is going to be the thing that they go to. So finally a timeout here from... is this just the under 16 as well too? 15:48 left in the game. Golden says, hey, these guys, I guess they're seniors. They can get out of a 12-point lead themselves, chat. It is what it is. But just for what it would do for the dynamics of the game, because now it feels like even on that last one, chat, they did show, but he showed in flashback so quickly. He didn't commit to the show for Clayton. He showed and then was committing more to the hustling back, if that makes sense. Whereas before it was like, okay, we're pressuring Clayton, we're continuing to push him out. It was like Clayton immediately just kind of bounced back. The guy went back, and then, Clayton's giving up the ball. Like, let's just make sure that we're at least shifting the defense a little bit. At least making them think that, oh yeah, we forgot, Clayton is the 30-point performer. He is the guy that can, you know, be dynamic in this type of way. Or do they need to, and again, Clayton's been such a good playmaker, but do they need to start initiating with another one of the guards? Do they need to have one of the wings try to initiate and then start Clayton off the ball? And then it's like, hey, obviously if the look's not there, then we can get back into the set and run the stuff. But, man, you love these kitchen ads, chat. What was this kitchen setup with? A faucet for the dog bowl? Again, we were talking about overtly bougie with the food, but overtly bougie with the kitchen, we're into. Just random faucets for, like, we have to have a faucet for everything. This faucet's for the coffee maker. This faucet's for the pots, and this one's for pasta. But if you're going to be making, you know, soups and salads and other things, here's one for that. And then here's the faucet in the sink. But here's the faucet for the dishes. But then you got the hand washing sink, of course, as well, too. But this was a cutaway underneath the counter, faucet lower to the ground for the dog bowl, and then you could just fill up the dog bowl, have the space right there. I'm all in, chat. Obviously, that's, you know, a little house dog, so maybe the problem is the type of dogs we'd be into, you know, you maybe a little more than a cutout under the counter, you know? I'm not saying I'm not, like, I don't know if I'd be more of a Rottweiler guy, chat, but a pit bull guy, maybe you know, I don't know if husky ownership always feels more idealistic, and then I don't know, is there like a sneaky, if there's any husky owners out there, DM us, let us know. I mean, anybody's going to tell us their experience is great, which is what we want to hear. We want to be like, hey, yes, husky is the move. But I guess, I don't know, we're not saying, I don't know what you can start mixing and matching as well too. You know, what a lineup, chat. We're going to have a pit bull, a husky, and a pug all in the same house. I mean, #1 dog house on the block, make no mistake. I mean, for the dogs and the dogs, right, chat? Hey, yo, cancel us now. But, okay, here we go. Florida with only 1 field goal make so far in the first half. Cryer with a couple of baskets. Taking him off the dribble. It's that little fall away, one-legged. That's a tough look. Not a lot of offense out of the timeout there for Houston. Good defense by Florida. And there we go. Houston, a little breakdown defensively. Florida under the basket. Condon with 10 points, Chad. He's 4 for 6 so far. So Condon in double digits now. Maybe it's the Condon second half. Hey, yo. Richard in the second half. Richard in the first half. Condon in the second half. But now it's 10. So is that the moment? There's a turnover. Is that only the second turnover of the game for Houston? Uh-oh, Clayton out of control. Barely keeping the dribble alive there, chat. That was close. But it was Clayton again finding Condon. Beautiful pass over the defender. Clayton's playmaking is a real thing, chat. It's a real thing tonight. And the team that we're rooting for, man, we should have learned the names, chat, in this chopped competition. But they're making some kind of like nan bread situation. I don't know what it is, but I'm all in. I just saw the nan and I'm like, winning plate. But I guess our visual aesthetic. Uh-oh, are they giving the same look? Oh, wait, did they not have the nan? Who had the nan? Who was making that? Uh-oh, we might have just switched our new favorite team. Who are these two? I don't know. We'll have to get a closer look at those dishes, chat. But whatever that... I don't know, chat. That just seems like the dish to go with. Tear up some of that bread. Sop up whatever nice meal they got going on there. So this is a couple of stacked lineups here, chat, to go up against. But yeah, with Clayton here, actually a chance to finally get points on the board as well too, for the first time. If he actually sees these free throws going, is it the classic shooter moment, chat? Pause. Hey, yo. Yeah, Scarlet kissed right snapper Curry with garlic naan. Ooh, chat. Chat. They might have got one there. They might have let him cook. Is that Will Richard in the first half? Is that red snapper and garlic naan? Oh, she's giving us... That was a good smile, chat. The judges, I feel like that was a good version of throwing their hands up there. Oh, I feel like this is a win. This is a win. So I think our team's going to survive at least one more round. It's not about at least... And you got to put up good points in the early rounds as well, too. If you're advancing to that championship game, you got to look back at those last dishes. Those earlier dishes and be like, hey, what does the full scale of the performance... Was this a championship level performance? You know, through all 3 rounds, not just necessarily that last dessert round. Red snapper tartare with miso butter eggplant. See, Chad, is it just like the double bougie combo? And tartare is not bad either. I mean, you know, you're going for tartare is really like, you know, shooting the half-court shot right away. But feels like it's a win. Feels like the judges are impressed. But a full, just like cooked up red snapper and then a nice carb on the side, chat. The thing about throwing that bread in as well, too, is the judges, like, their belly's going to be a little full after that one, chat. I don't know if they should have started with that one. But there's going to be a... And plus, that's the first meal of the day as well, too, though. So if those judges are going in hungry, that should be... Like, the judges should have a little bit of an appetizer. Like, there should be... You know, obviously, you don't want to overdo it. And the problem is you put out the appetizer plate, the judges are just going to eat that too much, and it is what it is. So maybe some veg, again, the veggie plate can be like, hey, you guys have to eat the veggie plate a little bit, but, you know, then they're not going to get too much. Blackened red snapper, charred eggplant puree. That sounds pretty good, chat. But here we go. Clayton, bam, first points on the board. Back down to 9. And he doesn't necessarily, and, you know, he's missed the shots, but he hasn't, again, he hasn't been aggressive as a driver. His playmaking has been good. He hasn't looked rattled. So that gives us that, you know, hey, if we need to turn the corner later, if we need to fire on, then we'll be fine. He's only attempted 1 shot in the last 18 minutes of play. The fact that they're down 8 and that is the stat is honestly crazy. 8 in college, you know, it's a little different. It's not the best place to be, but spinning away. Oh, the banker, chat. Roberts. The spin off Condon in the post. Back to double digits. There we go. Clayton now a little rushed on that shot. Trying to, maybe he thought he was just had the respect of the refs now. Trying to get another foul call. We won Clayton shooting looks for the, you know, we want him actually taking good looks, like shots that he actually wants to take, not shots for the sake of trying to draw the fouls. And I mean, that's obviously needs to be a part of the game. Get to the free throw line and be aggressive, but don't make that the primary reason you're attempting a jump shot. And now is he fouling on the other end? Oh, chat. Again, if Clayton is not scoring, you know, obviously it wasn't working, but you're still in the game if one of those other guys or Clayton is able to get a couple of buckets. But now he exits the game. You lose his playmaking. He fouled their, chat, and just a kind of a first, sort of like we said, he looked like he sort of wasn't frustrated, but on not getting that foul call in that last shot attempt, definitely I feel like affected. Oh, chat, so this is, yeah, a chopped blind date episode. Okay. So I think this might actually be a couple of successful dates here, chat, is what it looks like. Honestly, you know, you go through the fire of a cooking competition with somebody, you're probably going to go grabbing some coffee after that, chat. It's just what it is. You're like, hey, let's go cool down. But up 11 now. Haw for 3. Condon, a big offensive rebound and foul. Man, I feel like have they even had an offensive rebound in a while as well, too, chat. So no Clayton. Can they keep the ball movement up? Can they find the perimeter look? Like, they got a good perimeter look there. And maybe with Clayton off the court, a little more size, like we're saying, you get the offensive rebound now. Maybe you can go to some size in the defense. Oh, what are they reviewing for, chat? Uh-oh, what did Condon do? Oh, no, it might have been Roberts. Roberts pulling on the arm of Condon. Is that flagrant foul territory? I mean, yeah, he's pretty egregiously, you know, pulling that arm back, obviously, and, you know, restraining him from the rebound. But Is it flagrant? What is Gene saying? Gene, we actually need to hear from Gene. Yeah, Gene's saying common foul. Gene's old school. Gene says let him play. That's why Gene's the best in the biz, chat. I don't know if Gene was letting him play when he was reffing, but Gene was, you know, I feel like we always have good memories of Gene being around. The problem is that index card moment in the NFL is so iconic. And the fact that he reffed both, too, is like, oh, man, Gene Steratore. What a great guy. So it feels like he has enough. He has one of the better post-legacy ref memories, I think. Like Pereira, obviously, you know, we've had him in our lives for a while now in the booth. He's a cool guy, but I don't know if we're like if we're doing the all-time game, we're like, who do we need to ref the all-time game? Like Steratore might be on the list, chat. Steratore just needs to be on, or maybe Steratore, unfortunately, at this point is now, you know, pinned himself. Is like we have to have Steratore in the rules version in the rules role on the broadcast, just in case. The 2 or 3 times a game we need to call him for Gene. But again, if we're taking Gene, shout out, Gene is our favorite rules analyst in the game. I don't know if we're stepping on any broadcaster fantasy drafts we might do in the future, chat. But spoiler alert, at least, you know, we might not be able to get Gene Steratore in the draft. Who knows? Maybe the other teams also value Gene Steratore's talent. But I guess to unveil our board, and not to say that he would be, I guess, shout out our #1 overall pick, but I'm just saying, #1 for that position, pause. And maybe positional value as well, too. We have to look into that. If we feel he's a much better announcer at that than the other guys, then maybe he is worth a first-round pick. But another foul on Houston. So Houston has kind of turned the tables with their play here. A couple of unnecessary plays, slowing the game down, and maybe losing a couple of their guys to the bench as well too, chat. So again, Clayton out, but as the lineups change here, 3 fouls in 9 seconds for Francis. Yikes, chat. That is maybe the best record-setting performance we've seen of the night. And who subbed in for Clayton? Immediately driving to the rim, chat, and getting a basket. 5 players with 6+ points tonight. Who just subbed in, chat? It was for Florida. Aberdeen? Denzel Aberdeen just checked in, I think, for Clayton. So shout out, 1 for 2 tonight's first basket. But, and again, they're not doubling him the same way out of the pick and roll. So that becomes just another thing as well too, chat, is what happens now that the Houston defense is going to be playing the Florida offense a little differently. It is the fact that every guy now has the geometry of the court has shifted a little bit. And there's Richard again, chat. On the step back. 39-45. Or no, that's Martin, sorry. His first 3 of the game. So now Martin, Richard, and Aberdeen. Maybe that's just the scoring combo. The scoring combo that they need. Condon and Ha in the front court. We've got some scores. We've got some size. We've got some switchability. Oh, Ha with the block. You see him getting out on the rim, chat. Taking it in transition. And 1 for Ha. They have a chance to cut the lead to 3. And immediately you see the energy, the size, the switchability, chat. Oh, no. Oh, no. Wait a second. Basket 2 for Chop. Beat Truffles? Pause. What is that? Artichoke hearts. A charcuterie board? And some sort of item that I can't even pronounce the name of, but looks like maybe some kind of pastry. So we'll keep an eye on that, chat. I guess our 2 teams that we still liked are still alive. The Beef Tartare, who got eliminated. Beef Tartare still in, chat. And I guess we didn't see all the dishes, so we don't know who got eliminated. But shout out Florida making a comeback, chat. Okay, it's timeout. We're back in shops. But is there a little potential now, Clayton in-game Ewing theory developing? You thought with the way that he was still able to maybe get guys. But it was still a little repetitive as well, too. It was that same sort of, he's going to find, they got the looks Richard in the corner. There was some movement out of it that was happening that was being successful. But there was still a pop that was lacking from what was happening. And there's an energy shift that just happened, chat. They're able to fly around on defense a little bit. They created in transition. They're getting out in the full court. Getting some fouls. So I'm not saying, obviously you've got to try to get Clayton back in the game. We're not, well, I guess we'll just have to see, chat. If they take the lead without Clayton in the game, do you have to keep him out? Becomes the question at this point. What does Golden do with Clayton? And what was his actual foul situation here, chat? Let's see. What was that number? So he's only at 2 fouls right now. So he is at, do they have a minutes on here as well? They don't on this page here. So he probably just needed the break as well. Like we're saying, that foul was a little bit, like you don't want him to pick up that third foul quickly for a bad reason. Get him a break here and then have him for the last stretch of the game with some fresh legs. You're going to need him for more minutes than not here down the end. But if the score here continues to get closer, chat, will they decide to just stick with the lineups that they've had and the ones that have been successful? And like we're saying, some Houston guys have been subbed out as well too. This is just a tough stretch of the game, because then if they get back in the game, I mean, it just does Clayton all of a sudden now with a new sort of scoring a new score reset, a new deficit reset. Hey, yo. Could we use a deficit reset right now, chat? With the score in a different position. Maybe his playmaking, maybe they're able to, the offense in the slowed down version is able to try to be a little bit better. So whatever that thing was that I said, pause, that I couldn't pronounce, it's some sort of baked brie. It's like a pastry dough with brie cheese in it. So I mean that alone, I just say, hey, do we just throw some barbecue sauce? No, not barbecue sauce, but you just plate that baby. Garlic butter, like what more does it need? Barbecue sauce, chat. I don't know why that was the first thing that I thought of, but it's always top of the condiment big board. It is what it is. You can't go wrong. But here we go. Here's the foul shot. Ha with 4 points tonight. He's been a big scorer for him in the last couple of games, and it's been some of that getting to the rim. It's been some of that. Speaking of getting to the rim, hey, yo. We're seeing now some of these blind date people a little feeding each other the test tasting. So might not even wait till after, chat. We'll see what ends up happening. Are we gonna have to move to Food Network Plus later to watch the rest of this episode? Who knows? But Clayton, is he back in? Okay, Clayton's back in. The kick out for 3 is not able to go, chat. Is Golden even thinking Clayton Ewing theory at this point? But there was a little bit of a burst. And Cryer in the corner for 3. Was Cryer in the game there? Pause. I wasn't paying attention to Cryer when they were making that run. But he's up to 15 now, 4 for 10 from 3. On his way to being tournament MVP if they get this win. A big moment. So there's Aberdeen still in the game. Oh! Number 3 for Florida. Just absolutely whiffing a shot at the rim, but it looks like it was a foul, so there may have been a legit excuse for it. But clutch 3 from Cryer. Just calm in the moment. Right when Florida's starting to make the comeback. But Aberdeen creating might be the way to go. I don't know where he's at as an initiator, chat, if you have to have him off the ball and sort of attacking in this way. But his aggressiveness is at least creating stuff. Michael Handel Ogdenton? What's this guy's name? Oh, and the free throw rating is at like a 52. I don't know where he's at right now. Just, his free throw meter would just be like super quick, chat. He bricked that free throw. You got to dial in that shot form that first free throw, and then he'll green this next one here. It'll be fine. It looks like he's got it locked in. Here we go, chat. Up and away. Oh, no. Same result right off the back of the backboard. I mean, those weren't even close, chat. That guy is... I'm afraid to even look up his free throw percentage. He might be like a 29% free throw shooter. Those weren't even close. Do we have to call out Micah Handel-Stoggin right now for a free throw shooting contest? We might take him down like 10-0. It may get out of hand quick. Oh, he had a chance to redeem himself with the offensive rebound, but unfortunately he's all hustle, chat. No touch, pause. In some ways that might be a good thing. Oh, Cryer gets him moving on the perimeter! He almost crossed him and hit a 3 in his face, chat, but Hagel-Stoggin saves himself a little bit. The Clayton 3 not able to go. Settle down. There's 10 minutes left. You're down 6. You don't need a quick look. You don't need Hagel-Stoggin getting your offensive rebounds, but you don't need necessarily Clayton taking quick threes either. 0 for 6 from the field, chat. Oh, no. The Clayton performance, historic in the other end of things. I didn't think we could get historic 0 from Clayton. He did have the free throws earlier to get on the box score points. He's not going to put up the donut. But no field goals made. And did Sharp get him on the arm there? What happened? Did he get ball? The refs want Houston to win? Maybe they do after what happened in the play calls from the last game. It would make sense, chat. Okay, we're keeping an eye on him. Who's this guy? What was the guy's name? Ron Groover, chat? Ron Groover acting like a goober? Get us some of these play calls right. Get Clayton on the free throw line. We need to keep an eye on these refs now. Let's do a little deep dive. What are the schools? One of these guys like Houston Satellite School, Fort Worth area. It's like, wait a second. There's still a Cougars mascot in there somewhere. The tip out by Houston off the miss. Cryer gets the offensive rebound. The floater. Okay, Cryer a couple misses. So it's gotten ugly, chat. The game is slowed. Florida has a chance. The door is open. Down 6. Houston hasn't been able to put a couple of buckets on it here to give them a little bit more of a lead, and Florida just can't get a good... They can't get a good look, and by that, I mean, yes, again, the Houston defense, but they also, in the last couple of possessions, haven't given themselves the best opportunity to get that. So Tugler now with 4 fouls, so maybe the Houston foul situation, and Cryer goes to the bench with 9 minutes left in the game. Cryer to the bench. Aberdeen to the free throw line, gets to go. Big make, chat. So this can cut it to 4 here. With Cryer going to the bench, I mean, I guess he's got to take a break at some point, but this is it, chat. Cryer, is he going to play any more minutes after that? Does he want to even go to the bench now? What was the Cryer foul situation? Again, it was just not him that fouled. It was, yeah, Tugler that just fouled. Cryer's got 1 foul. So this got to be a quick break. You got to, I guess, 1 more break before the under 8. Maybe a quick just 2 minute of game time. Not even, 1 minute of game time break. Maybe 5-10 minutes of real time, hopefully. But you would get nervous, chat. The drive, the baseline jumper is not able to go. So here we go. Clayton, can he push it? There we go. Oh, inside. It's the center not able to get it to go, but it's another free throw. So the refs keeping Florida in the game here. Chinyalu? I don't want to say the name wrong. Ruben Chinyalu going to the free throw line. So here, let's look up Micah Handel-Stoggin. How do you say this guy's name? Shout out, Micah. Instantly a classic player on the REMINGTOM pod. Let's see here. 22% from the free throw line. I mean, he's not even trying. I'm not saying that he shouldn't get minutes because they need center rotation, but You're obviously not trying. You were 54% at one point in your career. He's taking a half a free throw game. So, yeah, he literally just goes to the line and just goes, boop, boop, and then just walks away. What are we doing here, chat? Like, what is his total for the year? I guess he's 2 for 9. We can't blame him too much. He's barely even taken any. But for his career, he's 53 for 113. Come on, Hoggleton, Ogenton, Micah. Shout out. So make no mistake, he's not in the game now. They just needed it. Like, can we get a minute and a half out of Ogeltogen? And I mean, that's one of those things you're like, oh, of course I put him in the game, and immediately he goes to the free throw line. Roberts drawing the foul, Chad. His attacking has been effective as well. Martin on the double. Oh, no, Martin on the double just gets it out of bounds. But again, Roberts forcing the double. And there we go. Missing the last 7 attempts now. Roberts had the look on the inside. Chenula, the size. Can he make him work? Pause. Clayton, finally, he drives. He finishes. And 1. And there we go, chat. Did he wave the screen off that time? That's actually, there we go. It's like they keep doubling on that screen. Let's not send the screen. Let's just get Clayton a chance. No crier in the game. Just take your man to the basket and get a layup, get a foul. Clayton can tie the game after this timeout, chat. Once this Thunderbolts trailer wraps up, Clayton can tie the national championship game. But we have to get Disney promo in here, of course, as well. Uh-oh, chat. Is our team on the chopping block? They need to update the nameplates for those of us that are watching the national championship game as well, too, because I'm not paying attention the full time. I don't know which team we're rooting for, but they were, again, the one with the red snapper Nan combo at the beginning. A little bit of an unfinished plate for whatever this entree is not a great sign. They finished up the veggies, so apparently they got that right, but is there like a rice and entree situation? They tried some kind of rolled up entree ordeal, and it may not be working. Does that just kill the blind date if you just get eliminated? You're like, oh, well, just shake hands and see you later, I guess. Bye-bye. Because would Aura be down, chat, after losing in the Chops competition? It looks like the entree round might have been a bit of a tough round, honestly, for these 3 teams. All 3 of them don't really feel like, or not necessarily giving the vibes of a confident team. Here we go. Chopping block. Don't send our team home. I guess even our second place team, chat. Uh-oh. Of course, we're going to have to wait. It's just what it is. The anticipation is too much. But Florida, with the foul situation as well, too, they had those fouls right away in the first half. And they've had a couple of minutes of clean play here, where at least now, like, Condon and Haw only has 1 foul in the last 7 minutes is good. You know that he's going to be physical and flying around out there. Condon still with 2 fouls is not too bad as well. Same. Chenula with 0 fouls. I mean, I guess, hasn't necessarily logged, like, the most minutes of anybody, but still, you have physicality to work with here, chat. Pause. You can pressure, and you cannot be too worried. But you got Tugler with 4, Crier with 1. So Tugler and Francis are the main 2 for Houston. But they have added to the total. Houston's at 14. Florida is at 8 fouls so far. So here we go, Chad. If I'm not mistaken, we've got Clayton. We've got a Clayton free throw right after this. So, yeah, the final minutes of the game is when he shines 13 points in the last 5.5 minutes of the Elite Eight. What did they say? 10 points in the last 4 minutes of the Final Four. So, this is the time for Clayton to shine, chat. 8 minutes to go. Crunch time. All bets are off. You start just calling one-on-ones your own number. Clayton, the skill that he's shown throughout the tournament, maybe just putting that skill on display is the best bet right now if you're Florida. If you're going to go down with Clayton as your main guy, just that one-on-one, have him take matters into his own hands. Like, maybe this is the only way to feel good about it if you're Florida. But Houston did have that 12-point lead earlier as well, too, chat. It's been a 12-point comeback for Florida here. So, a little bit of reverse engineering of the last game that they played in. Houston gave up. Houston had the lead. They were the ones that made the storm back after the collapse by Duke. And now they are ones that maybe collapse against Florida here in the national championship game. Kelvin Sampson, oh no! Kelvin Sampson, don't fall apart like this. I guess it's too late. The fall apart has already happened. Florida's already made the comeback, but can you fix business? Oh, Chenula, chat, there's the first foul. Oh, and is he going to get a technical for spiking the basketball? I thought it may be a double whistle, chat. That was an aggressive spike after the play. Hopefully the refs aren't being a little too personal here in the last 8 minutes. Oh, chat, he may have good reason. What did he do? Obviously for the tech, but what did he do for the foul? Show it again. Do we have to go back? Yeah, he's getting a tech, chat. That's tough. Oh, no, we're rewinding the wrong one. We're rewinding the chopped. I have to watch the ad break again? Oh, well. Another technical for Florida. Again, that's right. We had that technical on the coach a little bit earlier, chat. And that was at a moment in the game as well, too, where it felt like that Houston, it was important for them to get those couple of points on the board. So Cryer back in the game now. Putting up these technical foul free throws. Makes both of them this time. Florida had it tied up. And unfortunately, Chenula is going to have to go to the bench, chat. The team rightfully not necessarily happy with him. But I felt like he had a pretty clean block there as well. So maybe it's just that time to try to go smaller and try to go with the, you know, more, again, not more athletic, but the more perimeter-based lineup. Oh, chat. So one of the two teams, I guess, of the two of the three teams left. Oh, no, did the team we were rooting for go home? They did, chat. They got eliminated. It feels like in the competitions, any of the, like, rolled up type, like you start, you know, spread. Hey, yo, chat, this is wild, but I don't know what else to say now. It's the only sentence I can say. But when you start spreading the meat out, Jesus, chat. But you get what I'm saying. When you're doing the roll, pinwheel stuff type stuff. Oh, there's Clayton getting to the rim, chat. So the Clayton takeover. Here we go. Start making moments. Chocolate fondue. Grapes. Hot honey. And what's the fourth item? Hugs and kisses cookie. Oh, this is an easy basket, chat. That's the last mystery basket. Add in a Walter Clayton last 8-minute turnaround, big scoring performance into that, and you've got yourself a national championship night, chat. Here we go, Walter Clayton. Earning the respect of the nation back. He had us lost. Can he get? Are we just gonna get a Walter Clayton championship double-double? What's gonna happen here? All of a sudden, the game's tied. Cryer one-on-one. He's got Condon moving. He's had a couple of those looks driving into the lane. He's spun back and sort of taken that fadeaway jumper. Oh, Martin not able to finish, not able to draw the foul. Sharp, don't take the three. And there's Houston getting to the rim, getting the two-pointer. But Cryer as well, too. He's had a couple of opportunities where he's spun back and taken that fadeaway jumper. Maybe draw the foul. Maybe kick out if you're going to take the contested shot in that way. And there's Aberdeen, chat. Aberdeen in the second half. has made some big buckets. He only has 6 points, couple of free throws as well too. There was a pass to a foul as well, so not going to go down as assist. Oh, Sharp! The three in the face of the Florida defender from the top of the key, his first three of the game. Here we go, chat. The offense has picked up. It's championship level basketball. Condon inside. And is Calvin Sampson going to take a timeout? Florida taking a timeout? Florida calls their first timeout of the game. He needs to slow it down. But this is the Florida game, chat. I think you want to play fast. I think you want to get in this offensive game. I mean, Condon, I think, got a finger on that Sharp three. I think Condon might have played some defense there, chat. Holy chat. This is insane. This is the national championship game we were expecting. Oh, man. Okay, wait. Do we need to take just a quick timeout, chat? Just real fast? Okay, don't worry. We'll definitely be back before this commercial break ends, but we need to settle in here with these last 5 minutes. This is intense. Chat, that was the quickest timeout in history. They're back in action already. Houston puts up a score. Houston back up 3. It's Sharp again. The big time players are stepping up in big time moments. Chat, am I turning into Bill Raftery? Am I turning into Bill Walton? We've got big time players. R.I.P. the legend. We could have used him, of course, on the call of any of these championship games, chat. Make no mistake, he's on the call right now for the people watching up there, chat. For the people upstairs, chat. Everybody watching from the beyond. Bill Walton's on the call. Did Bill Walton get the gig in the afterlife? I'm sure he got the job. But is that Roberts with the foul on Richards? Or Cryer getting him from a pause from behind? But stopping off of that screen, of course. A classic move of the last recent years. So they haven't had the Richard couple of shots here. Chenulo back in the game. They're going to need him, Chaz. I was going to say, you can't necessarily, I think, sub him out the entire time here. I don't know if they go a little offense, defense, mismatch the lineups. But his size and his defense in the middle, I think, is important here in the last couple of minutes. I think he was making a good matchup for Roberts as well, too. But Sharp now initiating. He's got the last couple of buckets to go. He's feeling it. The pick and roll for Sharp. Oh, great defense by Clayton. Sharp's athleticism, maybe not the guy to blow by him, but Clayton holds his ground. It's Aberdeen on the perimeter defensively. Chenula gets turned around and falls, chat. Chenula in the paint, loses his man. Oh, man, he didn't even get crossed up. He just slipped and fell, got driven by. I don't even know what happened there, chat, but he opens up a spot for the guy to score. A little Chenula Aberdeen pick and roll. Here we go. Chenula Richards. Richards with Cryer on him. Condon's going to have to do the work, chat. And you see Chenula's size that time. He gets the tip out on the rebound, but not able to, the other guys in the team not able to come away with it. 3 points, 3 minutes, 4 scoring possessions in a row for Houston. Is this the closing stretch? And we saw that stretch in the first half where they had the buckets, they had the run. They hit the couple of threes, and they got the double-digit lead. Oh, and Cryer on the baseline! A rookie mistake. 4 left. We go to the commercial. Houston up by 3. So we haven't seen Clayton dominate the ball the last couple of minutes the same way that he has. It's been movement. It's been a mix of the guys. Of course, they've been subbing in and out some of the bigs. But they haven't done the same sort of pick and roll. Clayton, Houston Hedges, just pass it back in. There's been some offense. There's been some movement. That's where they've been able to get the looks. But Sharp has just hit a couple of big-time shots here, Chad. He's been a big-time playmaker in the last couple of minutes of this game. So it's going to be the clutch players for each one. And with the way Florida is playing right now, Florida, I feel like, and, really anybody can, of course, have a big moment here, chat. But I feel like it's going to be either Sharp or Cryer for Houston. And we've seen Aberdeen get to the rim. We've seen Condon off the pick-and-roll play makes. I feel like Florida is just about making sure that the ball is moving and that we're getting the best look possible. But can Sharp and Cryer hit big shots here for Houston, chap? And we love it either way. Calvin Sampson winning the championship. Walter Clayton winning the championship. Walter Clayton, because the coach is going to be there for a couple more years, hopefully. You'd assume, like, the program he's built, is he going to be in the mix for national championships for a year to come? Walter Clayton. I mean, there's always going to be players that's like, it's their last year in the mix. But, I mean, if anybody deserves the championship, chat, Kelvin Houston is right at the top of the list. I mean, across all sports, across any player, coach, executive, you want to put in there. I know, you start doing good guy rankings with everybody that wins the title. Fortunately, there is a lot of good people across the leagues, chat, but doesn't mean you can't shout it out when time is appropriate. And he is a long-tenured coach with a great basketball program and totally deserving of being the one to bring the national title to Houston. With this team, in this tournament, when it felt like, all these historic teams, we had all these great players. Like we were saying, Houston was the team that lacked the star player in a way. We had Clayton, we had Flagg, we had Broom. We had these big programs with his historic ratings on KenPom. And Calvin Sampson is of those guys. Bruce Pearl's a legendary coach as well, too. We give him credit. Shire's a great up-and-coming coach as well. And like we were saying, Golden is definitely on the rise. But Calvin Sampson is the legacy guy of these guys and of the coaches that were remaining. And it seemed like the dessert round went very well in this chopped run, chat. There was some kind of ice cream situation that looks really good. I don't know, just like a dark purple ice cream. Seems, but not like highly saturated, a lightly tinted darker purple, if that makes sense. Maybe it is just a light purple. I don't know. I'm tripping, but anyways, it looks good. But he is the guy with the status and the legacy of the coaches left. So for him to get the unit together, buckle down, and to actually put together a championship squad of these historic groups is the thing that seems the most fitting. And Clayton for 3, chat, is maybe just too unstoppable. And there we go. They run him off the ball that time, and he's able to get the look off the screen and just fire the 3 right away. Wow, chat, his first 3 of the game. 1 for 6, and he ties the game. 62 straight games with a 3-pointer made. The streak is alive in Steph Curry fashion. He finally gets, and LeBron James, Steph, all these guys sometimes just, it's like, takes the last second to get that streak going. Pause, but it still goes. Cryer to the rim. The offensive rebound. Houston. That's where Chenula in the game, the size, maybe the interior presence would help at least bat that around a little bit. But the offense and the quick playmaking. Oh, swatted, chat. Francis swats Richard on the inside. Wow, Houston Absolutely riveting plays here, chat. Great screen by Condon. The NBA scouts are in love with the off-ball movement, but unfortunately just gives up the rebound on the other end. You would have needed that. Like to see that box out actually be successful. Oh, chat, I like this, the chocolate stripe down the middle. I mean, you know, classic sort of, hey, yo, pause, but ganache to like decorate the plate. We've seen that deal, but they did it like decorative, and then the dishes on the larger serving plate on top of the chocolate as well too. Izzy and Darian, this is the team we're rooting for. It's got to be Izzy and Darian, chat. Shout out. Championship level performances. I know this championship game, maybe we don't know who we want to win, but Izzy and Darian in this Chopped episode, they're our team. So who is going to be the Izzy and Darian of the college basketball world, chat? Who will make it? Both teams at this point, double bonus. Roberts for Houston going to the free throw line, 63%, chat. So what were the free throw percentages for the teams this year? I feel like that might be where Florida has the advantage. We've seen them in a couple of these games be good free throw shooting teams already. But for the season, they were 6th in attempts, chat, 160th in the nation in percentage, 72%. Oh, and misses for Houston, chat. 63-62. Florida can take the lead under 2 minutes. Clayton for 3. Oh, off the back of the rim. Clayton went hero ball mode. They could have taken the lead. They could have taken the lead with a 2. He didn't need a 3 there. A quick look is not bad, but maybe a rush shot is not the best thing in the world. Oh, the blocked 3-pointer from Florida. Oh, man, chat. I thought Clayton was going to get that 3-pointer to go. Richard making a defensive play here. And Richard's stock is up as well, too, chat. We haven't even made a tankathon stop tonight. That's how riveting the game has been. We haven't even made a stop over to check it out, but it doesn't matter, chat. I like what I'm seeing. We're going to Mike Mayock this. All these guys, top of the board. And do Izzy and Darian survive another day? I think they do. Wait, who won? Wait, who was... Oh, Izzy and Darian wasn't the team we thought we were rooting for. But we did. This is the team we like this team, chat. Shout out. Great team. Seemed like a great run of dishes. Obviously, you know, didn't have any Nan in there. Is that even how you say it? That's how I've been saying it all night. Hopefully I say it. Is it non? Do we need an accent guide? Somebody DM us a pronunciation. Somebody like record something and DM us. And DM us a recipe. Hopefully YouTube, if there's one thing I want you to listen for, all these times our phone listens to us, and it's like things that's like, oh, either I actually want this and like don't need to be spending money on this, or like, why are you recommending this stuff? Like, you're listening to the wrong things. Listen to the useful things. Listen to the fact that I want some Nan recipes. Get these YouTube short Nan recipes of cooking, chat. I better see the algorithm in full effect after this. But shout out. Seems like no Nan in the recipes didn't matter, chat. The blind date actually worked. I mean, the thing is, yeah, you win that competition. You at least have a 6-month run, I think, easily, of just restaurants and cooking. And I mean, that's probably number 2 and 3 on the list, let's be honest. But I think you could at least make it half a year on the strength of winning a chop competition. The vibes of that can last at least a couple of months. So I don't know if we're still in team competitions here, chat. I don't know if they're theming it March Madness team competitions for Chopped, but that'd be programming brilliance. Walter Clayton, this time it's Condon diving to the rim. It's that same, that's that cluttered interior, slow offense stuff that we saw earlier, and it doesn't work out. Houston gets the rebound, a minute left, up 1. That could have been a tough possession here. They can go up by still at least 1 possession, but... Oh, Cryer turns it right over. He gives it right to the defense. Martin drives. Martin draws the foul. Free throws to take the lead, chat. Florida can take the lead with 46.5 seconds left. Wow. The comeback can be not made totally complete because, again, there's still game left, but the lead can be had. Unbelievable, chat. And they've taken... and Tugler, that's Tugler's 5th. He's out of the game. They took Aberdeen out of the game. He's been good. I don't know who you would necessarily sub him in for. You got to go, you know, Richard, Martin, Clayton, Ha, and Condon. Obviously, that's the lineup that's been arguably made you the best team in college basketball. I mean, this team, chat, we saw... I mean, if we were going sort of just what we had seen over the last couple of months, I think Florida would have been the best team. I think Duke... if we were able to erase our memories of just what the hype of that team was, they're still, again, either the first or second best team. Duke and Florida were the 2 best teams in the country the last couple of months. Cooper Flagg and Walter Clayton Jr. were the best players in America. But, again, Cooper Flagg had the hype of being Cooper Flagg and that Duke team of being Duke, and they were good. They were in the Final Four with the lead and should have won the game. So... if we were just going by what we saw in the last couple of months, though, Florida probably was the best team in college basketball, and Walter Clayton has probably been the best player in college basketball. And in the last 8 minutes here, chat, he's been the best player in the game. It's not been the most well played. There's been defensive possessions by each player, by multiple players on each team, and rebounds and points scored, but Clayton's hit a couple of big shots, continued to initiate the offense. The offense has his scoring has turned around itself. And Florida now has the lead by 1 with 46.5 seconds left. It only makes sense, chat, that as a team, again, Kelvin Sampson is a coach. Come on, Kelvin. But on the paper, this year's stuff, a close matchup, sure, a awesome grinded out game, but if Florida actually wins this one, that would be truly, I think, the best team in college basketball winning the title. Again, the talent of Duke and what they were, but the way Florida has been playing as a team the last couple of months, it has been unmatched. Clayton as a star player has carried. Can he do it here, chat? Sharp! The double screen. The double on him, and they dribbles the ball out of bounds. Chat, he's been a great shooter and a great perimeter threat. But some of the individual creation stuff, obviously, I don't know if you want him being the one to try to attack. Great defense. Is that Richard again, chat? Is that Richard again? They're going to review to see who it officially off of, but it doesn't matter. It's still a great defensive play by Will Richard. Only, 4 points here in the second half. Overall, the game, 50-40, 100. 18 points, 8 rebounds, 2 steals, a block. This is a real eye-turner performance, chat. Richard will be on some lists. Proctor? Is he in that Proctor spot? There's got to be a guy that we just over-evaluate. Again, Clayton might start actually getting first-round top 30. He might be in that 25 to 32 range. I think first round's 30 picks, but, I guess 25 to 35. If we're going to give it some second-round grace, we'll say 25 to 35. He might be in that range. And that might be Will Richard range as well, too. Like 40th, but we need a guy in that 40, that sub-40 range. 40 or later on in the draft that will just irrationally sort of buy stock in. And make no mistake, we might buy stock in a couple of players down there. We might go bargain shopping, chat, in the 2024 draft. It's just what it is. We love going bargain shopping at draft time. It's one of our favorite times. But, maybe it'll be Richard with the defense, the three-point shooting, the championship level step up and make plays in the big moments. And again, Clayton's done it too. Like, Florida is risen to the occasion here in the second half. But to have the other players step up around you offensively, you go, okay, it's now my time to step back. Emu sliders, that's the winner in the first round. I'm all in. Burgers, if I'm a judge, see, that's why I couldn't be a chopped judge. I'd be biased toward the dish. You make a burger, I mean, chat. Just make a breakfast or make a appetizer burger, sliders, and then an entree burger, and then a dessert burger at the end. A dessert burger might be a pause. That's a little crazy. But if we can make a professional dessert burger is nuts as well too. But if that can somehow be a thing, then that would be a 3-round win for your boy on this. So they've got ground emu in the basket. It honestly don't look too bad. Ground emu. It's a little more red meatish. Pause. You know, emu being in that bird family, you don't know if it goes into more. Is it going to be more poultry, chat? Chicken, turkey? But again, they're making sliders, ground beef. Is ostrich like that as well too? Is ostrich red meat? Ostrich lays eggs? Emu eggs? What's the egg to red meat combo? Pause. But either way, chat. Aberdeen back in the game. Yes, sir. Big second half. I would hope he would get a chance to have moments to finalize this in the club. Maybe, again, a little offense, defense. So is he back in for... Is Condon in for Aberdeen here? But Aberdeen free throws make this a 2-point game. Oh, I think in the last... Okay. 19.7 seconds left, chat. I've made a call. I do want Kelvin Sampson to get a national title. I don't necessarily know. Well, yeah, and Hakeem. I want Kelvin Sampson and Hakeem to get the national titles. As much as I was saying it makes sense for Florida to win it, I can make the call. 19 seconds left. It's official. The Remington is biased toward the Houston Cougars. Pie Slamma Jamma! Long live Pie Slamma Jamma! Long live Hakeem Clyde! Who is the coach for the Pie Slamma Jamma team, chat? I should know, but Kelvin Sampson will be remembered as a legend in our time and in all times. But can he overcome a 2-point lead here, chat, with 19 seconds left? Who do you run a play for if you're Houston? Is that a thing that is an issue? You have had Cryer that is been a really great performer in this game, but you ran the Sharp play in the last game, or in the last play. And again, I like Sharp, but if you're going to run the Sharp play, do you want the Sharp play to be him off the screen, him movement? Maybe you run the play, Sharp sort of drifting to the corner, and then it's like, okay, if it's not there, then you have him in the corner for the potential 3. You know, I don't know if him running the double screen, driving to the basket is the best play. And who knows if he was, you know, taking matters in his own hands there, chat. But Cryer, I'm sure he's gotten into that mid-range a couple of times, and he has gotten that look off. The Florida defense has been there, and he just hasn't been, you know, Cooper flagged it, hasn't been able to get it to go. So they can potentially hold it for the last shot here. Do they have the guts? Uh-oh. Trapped in the corner. Cryer. Richard swallowing him. Sharp. He puts it down. Is it a double dribble? Oh, no, chat. Disaster by Houston. The clock runs out. Florida is the national champions. Kelvin Sampson can't believe it. Sharp, not great the last couple of plays, chat. But ultimately, Walter Clayton Jr., Will Richard, Aberdeen, Condon, Chenulo. Wow, chat. What a tournament. What a tournament. College basketball. We complained that the best seeds were in the... We complained that they advanced. We complained that the great teams and the great players made it. And that the best players were advancing farther in the tournament. But guess what, chat? We just got arguably one of the best, I think, Final Four weekends we've had, at least in a long time. At least maybe this 21st century, we got one of the better Final Four weekends. Sharp, just unfortunately like Baker Mazzara in that last game, had that jump shot, didn't commit, defender was there, put it down for a dribble, but Baker Mazzara, he just committed and just double dribbled. Sharp, at least he tried to give other Houston players a chance to make a play, but nobody else realizing / being able to get over and make a play in time, and then being able to get it and get a good look as well too. At that point, the play is broken. And Florida's defense on that last play, Uzan? They really covered up Uzan in the corner near the sideline there once he got the ball. So that really killed the possession on the offense. And I don't know, chat. Did Calvin Sampson drop the best look there? I don't know if the execution was great either. But not necessarily the way you want to end the season for Houston. So close for Calvin Sampson to finally get this chance. But like we're saying, Walter Clayton, best player in college basketball this year. Florida was definitely the best team in college basketball this year. So, or by the end of the season, the way they were playing, definitely the best team. And same with UConn. I know for the women's side, I know UConn got the 2 seed, and I know, I guess we can't speak to the full conversation of the way the end of the regular season played out, but there were some advanced stats they were showing at the end of the regular season that UConn was the favorite in that side of the bracket in terms of those stats. And with the way Page played in the tournament and with the way they played as a team, Fudd and Strong as well too, it just made total sense that they were ultimately the team that won the national title. And it makes total sense that Florida won the national title. And like we're saying, an absolutely classic weekend. 3 iconic games, 3 iconic matchup, players making plays. Chat. I mean, what's the recipe for great moments? Players making plays. It's always going to be the recipe. And guess what, chat? This is an iconic players making plays game for the national championship. Florida, Houston dropping the game after the ultimate collapse. So that's what we're, Duke probably should have been in this game. Sam was saying, as a pseudo Duke fan for the 1 year, on the Cooper Flagg bandwagon, he was saying that he wasn't necessarily worried about what Florida was showing. Florida, I think, obviously, by the end of it, obviously, in the second half, played really well. And the pieces that they did show, you saw, obviously, Florida being that great team. But Duke, of course, they could have won this game and could have won that Houston game as well, too. But Houston, with the collapse themselves in this one, is a crazy turn of events, Chad. But Clayton has tankathon. We'll do a tankathon visit now that the game is over. And yes, he has updated within the last 24 hours or so. So it should be recent, not to the national champion. Oh, he updated the WNBA portion, not the NBA. He's got to at least, I guess, wait for the national title game to wrap up. So I don't know if he's had Will Richard on his board before. And again, as a senior, you never know what the senior thing is going to do to the draft stock. So yeah, right now it's just Condon at 27 on the big board and Walter Clayton up to 45. So yeah, he's moving up. I'm certain that he'll move up into the top 35 after this next one. And especially with the way he played today. I know that if we go back and dig into the tape, there might be some things with the way that they played the defense on him that may be something to look for in translating him over to the NBA. And Baba Miller is a great name. 72 on the big board. I don't really care, chat. Baba Miller? Baba Yaga Miller? 2 blocks? 13 and 8. 2 blocks? Sign me up, chat. Baba Miller and Wembanyama? I think it's a great combination. But with the way he was able to keep the playmaking up in the second half, 4.5 assists a game. And what was his final assist number? It may have just ended on that 6 that he was at earlier, 6 or 7 for the game. Yeah, he did end up just finishing the game with 7 assists, ended up, trying to take a little bit more of a scoring role later and did end up figuring out that's the important part. He figured it out. It was a sloppy game. Pause. Sometimes that's going to happen. In the NBA, of course, for great players, they're going to have bad games. But in the big moments, can you figure it out? Can you get your looks? Can you just step up and hit the shots, even if you haven't necessarily had a brilliant game? Chipotle emu custard? Huh. I'd like to be an interesting one to try out, chat. I'm in on the idea. Is there a Chopped recipe website we can copy these things? These people just off the dome. Pause. Brilliant. But the play drawn up, the emu custard play better than what Calvin Sampson drew up at the end of the game. Who knows? Shout out our legendary guy. But yeah, with the way he showed a well-rounded performance, I think that even helps his draft stock as well too. Again, there's obviously versions of a bad game that don't help his draft stock, but this version of it was, there are highlights I think to definitely take away from the way that he was able to perform. So Condon, of course, you know, showed his energy throughout the tournament, showed his impact, was big for them scoring in the first half, finished the game with 12, but big points to keep him in the game early. 7 rebounds, 4 steals, just flying around, chat. But Richard is the interesting one. Richard is the guy that is now on the radar in a real way. Okay, so, yeah, 6'5", 195, a little thinner. You know, same build as Clayton, same weight, but at least on the listing. But I don't know what those Ayo pause, but what those couple of inches are going to do, chat. For the NBA scoutingness of it. But those were some big-time shots and some big-time defensive plays. And he showed defensive in a lot of ways. Like, he has the wingspan. I know that he's a little slender again, but defensively, it seems like his length could definitely be an issue. And he showed the quickness digging down on some of the drives as the help defender, getting the steal as well too. So multiple ways of impacting the game defensively. And then again, as like as a guy with 3-point shooting upside, I know it's just on the border of like, will it project out to be consistent enough to be impactful in the NBA? But I think he's definitely right there, chat. He's right there. I don't know if some of these other, like what was some of his other bigger games here. Let's actually just go here and look at the tournament run that he's had so far. A couple of 15-pointers. So not great in the last game against Auburn, you know, 1 for 6. Maybe we can go back and rewatch that tape to try to balance it out, get a full spectrum of what the Will Richard performance is. You know, you got to watch a good game and a bad game again. Because again, you would look at the Walter Clayton box score for this one and go, okay, 3 for 10, 1 for 7 from 3, 7 assists, but 11 points. Like, I want to see what his version of a 3 for 10 shooting performance looks like. Is it he can't get any looks and the defense is everywhere and he's just absolutely helpless, or is he just missing good looks? And it was a little bit of, you know, good defense and him missing some shots, but you would go back and watch this tape and be like, oh, okay, there is, you know, big time shot making and some good encouraging things that happened. Uh-oh, chat. Florida basketball reference page is overloading right now. People are tuning in. So I don't know what Will Richards, I don't remember exactly what his version of an 0 for 3 3-pointer performance is. Still 3 steals, though. So still managing to impact the game. Big defensively. 7 steals in this tournament is pretty good. Yeah, steal and a half a game. Double digits for points. 28%. You know, the overall percentages in the tournament are not great, but he was awesome today. So if we're going to overreact to a championship game, it'll definitely be this one. Yeah, definitely a little streaky throughout the tournament. But like if we just go, you know, the 2 games where he was 15 a game, those percentages would be, we should just be able to do this math, but 58-50, probably a little bit, you know, unrealistic to project that out totally for a season. And I guess Tankathon, since he's not on the board, they're not going to have his projected 3-point percentage at all. But he would be, and I guess what would be the other prospects maybe at the end of the list? Since he's not on the board at all, I don't know how high he can jump up into the list right away. But right now you've got, I think, 75. Does he have 100 players on here? Does he do a top 100? Top 75. Top 74. Okay, Coleman Hawkins at 74. I've got some Coleman Hawkins stock for sure. I could see that. Baba Miller, we just said we really like, so we can't take him off the list. So Jackson Robinson, the senior. Kobe Johnson, the senior guard, 6'6", 200. Jackson Robinson, 6'6", 189. Peyton Samford, senior. I think maybe a little bit more consistent of a three-point shooter. No, he was only 34% this year, chat. I think he's a white guy, so he probably just stereotyped him. But he projects out as... Yeah, they're just like, he'll just be better three-point shooter in the NBA. 39%, obviously. But is he a white guy? Hopefully. I just assumed he is. Should we... I'm thinking of a guy on Iowa. So I don't know if Peyton Samford is that guy. Okay, he is, Chet. I figure. I mean, there's a good chance. Peyton Samford definitely sounds like one. But, his three-point shooting, like, what is his full round of, the defense and the versatility compared to what we saw from Richard? Again, even Proctor, who we had raising up our boards as a junior, 6'5", 183, I'm going to have to do real comparisons. What I saw from Richard tonight was as good as any moment I've seen from Proctor. And defensively as well, too, provided from some stuff. And Proctor has had a little bit more consistent season, maybe, and had a better start to the tournament. His three-point percentage on the year was, he was 40% from three on the year. So you would look at it statistically and go, is he a more consistent three-point percentage? I'm just saying, though, the high-end Richard performance that we saw tonight, if you're giving me that kind of three-point shooting, obviously, with the defense that he's providing, I like that better than what I saw from the high-level Proctor performance. If I'm being honest, and again, as a Proctor guy. Sears, the senior guard. Oh, chat, I can't draft anybody over Sears, unfortunately. I'll be biased there. But Kadary Richmond's another guy that, in our attempt to be biased towards St. John's, in our attempt to adopt them as a team, wow, what a split between Richardson, chat. The good is good and the bad is bad, apparently. Really good defender. But some of the three-point shooting stuff, I think, he was 17% from three is crazy. Projects as a 29% three-point shooter. But the midi was really good this year, I think. Do they have two-point percentage on here? They don't. But I think he might have been like 50+% from midi. So defensive win shares are insane. But, again, going back and checking the tape, it'll have to be... It's always check the tape. It'll have to see, and again, I'm biased right now. They just won the national title. But if we're just even comparing him again to other senior guards, like a guy like Milan Momcilovic, we're giving him the benefit of the doubt right now because he's a sophomore. 6'8", 220. Not bad, chat. Mackenzie Macbo, another sophomore. But Jamar Watkins, 6'7", 210. Hunter Salas, 6'4", 179. Kobe Brea, 6'7", 215. I think another more consistent three-point shooter throughout the season. 43% this year. But defensively, is he going to give you the same stuff? This will be an interesting one. I could see myself... I put him in the top 50 right away, chat. Jumping right up into the top 50. It may be what it is. Condon, I don't know. I might have to take the bias lens off as well, too, and start moving Condon up the list. But we should give some, of course, respect to the Houston guys as well, too. And just see where they were at real quick for their draft stock. So Tugler is the only one with draft stock at this point. They had him at 58, and he fouled out. So Tugler versus Richard, chat. Again, the guard versus maybe the wing, the versatile wingy type big forward is a different thing. But 3.5 blocks a game, I guess, per 36 is not bad. Is he 9 points a game per 36? How many points a game this year was he? 5.5? Okay, it is what it is. You're hustling around. You're doing your thing. You're obviously on NBA big boards, so if it ain't broke, don't fix it, man. And your team definitely, obviously relied heavily on your performances, so there we go, chat. A fantastic college basketball season. It wasn't Dusty May this time, but who knows? It may be soon. It wasn't Cooper Flagg either for our guy Sam, but it was Florida. It was Walter Clayton. It was, I guess, the rest of the team as well, too, chat. But shout out Golden. What's the first name of their coach, chat? Is it Matt? Tom? Todd? Tim? Did we get coaches' names on here? Oh, well, shout out coach for Florida. He did a great job. Shout out Calvin Sampson as well, too, and the Houston Cougars for a great run. In San Antonio, you know they were an excellent host city, so you've got to shout them out as well, too. Oh, wait a second. What's this last mystery basket? Chicken floss cakes, cellulose, a celery lettuce combo, French pork rib rack, and white peach ice cream bars. Oh, they're like the bougie ones, Chad. Speaking of bougie, they're the, I don't know if you've seen the guy on Instagram that recreates the dessert to look like the fruit. So if he makes like a mango, whatever, he makes it look like a mango, or he makes pear dessert look like a pear. This is like the peach. It's like a peach ice cream dilly bar, but actually looks like a peach. So, hey, yo, Chad, are we back on the blind date episode? What's going on here? But, anyway, shout out to our Chop champion. Shout out to our national champion. Shout out to Paige Beckers and Gino and just the whole college basketball season. It has been a great time, Chad, and a great March Madness run on the REMINGTOM pod. Thank you guys, of course, for watching March Madness along with us. It was great fun, but the sports, the music, the movies, it all continues, Chad. So we will be back. We will still be here this week. Don't worry, the REMINGTOM pod. Subscribe. We will be live. We are on the podcast feeds as well, too, for those episodes, and we are on the social feeds as well at REMINGTOM pod across the Instagram, TikTok, Deep Sky, Red Note. What is even out there anymore, chat? Who knows? There's probably a REMINGTOM account on there somewhere. But, yeah, bravo, Walter Clayton. Bravo, Florida, on the national championship. And stay tuned, guys. We will be back later. See ya.